I cheated on my wife and confessed. Her reaction utterly confused me. Sean, 36, has recently sent a letter to our editorial and told us about his very complicated family situation. The man expected that he would be judged by many people, but he still wants to get some opinions and some pieces of advice from people who won't remain indifferent to his problem. The man opened his letter, saying, "My wife Rosa and I have been happily married for 15 years now. We've been through many life situations together, and we've always found the way out together. We've been more than spouses all this time. We've been kindred spirits, and our marriage has been based upon trust and mutual understanding. We never lied to each other and never cheated. But recently, things took an opposite turn and our family is now falling apart with the speed of light." Sean explained, "I know I did something really awful and disgusting. I cheated on my wife with a client of mine. I don't really know why I did all this. My body felt like it was on autopilot, and after a short time I couldn't take the guilt anymore. I immediately cut off my affair partner. I ended my relationship with her as a client, too, and passed her contract to a coworker. I have been no contact with her ever since. I also confessed about this to my wife, and I've been doing individual therapy since then, too." Sean confessed, "At first, my wife got really upset and depressed. She was absolutely angry. I was seriously worried about her mental state. I did expect some big drama, but I've never seen her so depressed before. I begged her to not divorce me. I proposed some counseling, therapy, even allowing her to have relationship with other men, but she wasn't interested. She just asked me to leave her alone and give her more time for coping with pain on her own. She insisted that I must move out and wait until she calls me with her suggestions about our future life together." The man didn't object against his wife's will. Sean wrote, "I picked my things and left to live at my parents'. I called her every day. She sounded broken and frustrated. I could hear it in her voice that she was totally hurt, and I could understand this. She refused any help from me and only kept telling me that she needed more space, which I allowed her to have." Sean wrote, 3 weeks after I confessed to her about my infidelity, my wife suddenly started behaving in a very strange way. She called me and asked me to take my things and move back into our house, which I happily did. She said she wanted to try to work us out, and she instantly jumped in, being the best wife a man can ask for. Sean revealed, "She cooked my favorite dishes, she left me loving notes, and bought herself new clothes to look even more attractive to me. Her reactions were lukewarm at best. She smiled and thanked me, and she kept telling me how she loved me more than anything. She barely initiated a talk about what had happened between us, and I didn't bring it up either. I was shocked about this change, but I thought she was just being a strong and reasonable woman, and I believe that she decided not to let a short-term affair to spoil our marriage." The man wrote, "I didn't find my wife's behavior suspicious at all, but there was one thing that I couldn't understand, and she would never explain it to me. I found out that she started visiting a doctor, a gynecologist, and she did it too often, like, it wasn't a regular checkup or something. I mean, she had appointments with the doctor almost every week, and these visits started shortly after I confessed to her about cheating." Sean wrote, "I was thinking of some serious health problems that my wife might have had, and these visits didn't let me sleep peacefully at night. She did have some issues with her reproductive system, and this is why we didn't have any kids, or so I thought." The man revealed, "When I finally confronted my wife about her health and her visits to the gynecologist, she smiled and then announced to me that she didn't have any health problems at all, and she said that she was visiting the doctor because she consulted about her pregnancy. I was dumbfounded. Then I felt so happy that we will have a baby, but then my spouse dropped a bombshell on me. She confessed that this baby wasn't mine. She said she had been having an affair with another man, just like I did with another woman, and that she fell pregnant from him. I could feel how all my life was turning upside down at that moment." Sean wrote, "My wife said that everything that happened in our family was fair, and she believed that each of us got what we deserved. She suggested staying together, and she said I could adopt the baby if I had a wish to do so, explaining that she had no longer been in touch with the baby's bio dad and saying that this man wouldn't have been happy if he had found out she was pregnant. The man is totally broken, and he has a lot of feelings about the situation. He wrote, I have a gut feeling that the baby is mine and that my wife had never been unfaithful to me. I believe what she was saying was a revenge. She wanted me to feel the pain that she was feeling after my painful confession to her. But at the same time, what if she wasn't lying and the baby isn't mine? What should I do in this situation? I'm torn. And here's yet another drama based on infidelity. This time, a woman took a married man away from his family. She expected to have a happy family with her beloved, but karma hit her hard and now the woman is totally desperate. Now on to the next story. My husband cheated on me, but instead of leaving him I've been taking revenge on him for 8 years. Greta, 40, has always believed that her union with her husband Rick has been a blessing. The woman described it as an ideal marriage that was more than a marriage. It was a very close bond, a genuine friendship, and a passionate love, all in one. Greta wrote, Rick and I have been married for 15 years and we hadn't had a single argument, a single fight throughout all this happy time. Believe it or not, there has never been a scandal, a raised voice, or any kind of verbal or nonverbal offense in our family. We've always been soulmates, kindred spirits, and, above all, we were best friends. We raised 3 kids together, and we've been through so many challenges, troubles, and pain, always lending a hand to each other in the darkest times of our lives. When Rick's parents passed away in a terrible car catastrophe, I was there for him to help him heal. I didn't even think for a moment. I quit my job to be there with him every day, every single moment until he was back to normal again. When our second kid was diagnosed with a rare form of genetic condition that would mean him slowly dying, year after year, we were so united against this tragic diagnosis that we finally found a way to treat him in one of the best clinics in the world. And now our kid is alive, happy, and almost healthy. I still think that our love and unity guided us through so many troubles in our life, and we both survived through these times because we were always holding hands in the face of our destiny, which had been cruel sometimes. Greta wrote, I discovered my husband's infidelity 8 years ago. It all went like in a cheap soap opera, the kind of movie I always hated, and now I had to live through it myself. I had a call from a woman, who was his mistress friend, and she told me everything about his affair and even sent me screenshots of their texts and some videos from their private dates. To say that I was broken is to say nothing. I was so hurt that I couldn't eat anything for many weeks. I didn't tell him at once that I knew everything. I spent nights crying and shouting into my pillow so that my husband and kids didn't see and hear my pain. I thought my life was over. When my pain ceased a little bit, I told Rick that I knew everything. He didn't deny a single thing and confessed to me about his affair. He pleaded with me not to leave him. He swore that this was the first and the last time in his life that he betrayed me. I didn't believe him, but I didn't leave him at that moment. I agreed to stay married to him and to forget everything that happened between him and that woman. To his credit, he has been an ideal husband since then and worked on himself, but I never really forgave him. I just learned to be okay with the status quo. Until now. Greta wrote, I had something special in mind as a payback for every tear that I dropped because of this huge betrayal. And my further life went in a way that helped me to fulfill my cruel, yet justified plan. I had a serious heart attack a couple of years ago. As a result of it, there was some loss of blood supply, causing damage to my health. That accident changed my perspective. I got my cholesterol and blood pressure levels down. I also started taking my fitness appointments seriously, and now I'm finally in the best shape of my life. This was a quite tragic thing, but at the same time, it helped me make the right decision in life. My success in restoring my health triggered my self-improvement in so many other areas of my life. I changed my style, I progressed in my profession, and I finally found a new hobby that I fell in love with. I started communicating with many people because of my new hobby. With that came a saving feeling that I could finally get a better partner than my husband. I realized well enough that I wanted to retire with a man who never betrayed me. So I finally decided to leave my husband. And this was just a coincidence that at that very moment, Rick was going through a very bad period in his life. Greta confessed, all these 8 years Rick had been thinking that he was forgiven. I was honest with him about the reason why I was leaving him after such a long time of a seemingly happy life together. I told him I believed I could do better than him, that's why I'm leaving him. I told him he's still attractive, which is somewhat true, but what I need is a man who never cheated on me, and he can't be that person. Since our kids are older now, his utility for me is decreasing with every passing day. There is no point in delaying the inevitable. Greta wrote, saying that he was not happy is a huge understatement. He went mad and started accusing me of using him. He shouted, called me names, he even cried, just like I did 8 years ago when I found out about his affair. He claimed that I robbed him of his valuable time, which I find the most outrageous because the only one who robbed and betrayed was him. He tried to bring everything back and even suggested that we should have a baby to save our relationship. But I ignored all his attempts to involve me in arguments, and I'm happily marching forward with our divorce. I am in the best position to divorce now. Our kids are older and I can date easily. Rick is miserable now. He has issues with his health and work, but I don't care. Am I wrong? And here's a confession of a woman who took a married man away from his family. She told us how she wanted to build her happiness on the ashes of her significant other's marriage, but her life suddenly turned into a nightmare. Story 3. I accidentally cheated on my wife, and her payback left me in shock. An anonymous 32-year-old man took to Reddit to share that he and his 29-year-old wife were having a real drama in their family. He wrote that they had been married for 5 years, and in the second year of their happy relationship, he had an affair, which wasn't a long-lasting one and happened accidentally. He revealed the truth to his wife and their marriage seemed to have been restored, but it turned out things went a very wrong way. The man states that his wife was able to forgive him for his affair, and they even went to marriage counseling to make their marriage work out after such a trial for both. But one day, he revealed that all this time his wife was playing pretend and probably had something in her mind. It was his discovery, even not the affair itself, that was the beginning of a huge family dilemma, which the desperate man is trying to solve now. Some days ago, while the man's wife was in the shower, he went through her phone and found the texts confirming she was cheating. This totally broke him, both as a man and as a husband, and he wrote that he felt so betrayed. The man then confronted his wife after she got out of the shower. She said that her affairs were absolutely okay because he previously cheated on her and had set the precedent for allowing infidelity. The man tried to convince his wife that his cheating was a half-conscious one-time thing and that he hadn't had any affairs since. She also insisted that he didn't even know the girl, and his wife, on the contrary, now has a relationship with the guy. His wife's reaction totally made him panic, as she got mad and stormed off. She then left for work, and the man hadn't seen her since. He wrote that he's totally sure she's with that other man, and it hurt. He confessed that, on the one hand, he feels he deserves this, but at the same time he now wants his wife back.